I believe it's a trading market. I've liquidated more than 50% of my portfolio today. Again, that's not a buy and hold portfolio. That's trading. So I did that, Scott, because we had explosive moves in semis. We had explosive moves in BABA, in KWEB, in a bunch of these stocks. We'll talk about more of that later, but just wonderful to see these kinds of moves. And it was foretold by very strong upside buying in spider calls, in IWM, in NASDAQ, and in all those stocks or sectors that I just named.
Josh, 2-month high for the SMH, the semis ETF. You look at the names, Skyworks and Taiwan Semi, Qorvo, Micron, Broadcom, AMD, AMAT. You go down the list. This is the area we told you to look at if you were going to get favorable headlines from the weekend.
Correct. These are the new industrials, and they're global, and they're more important than looking at things like Dow transport divergences and all the old-fashioned stuff that people who were around in the 70s and 80s used to obsess over. Those things have not helped you as an investor over the last 10 years, will not help you over the next 10. I think if you want to get a real read of corporate spending, global growth, on and on and on, you're looking at things like the semis. And so if that continues, it'll be an important leg to the stool. The other thing, I just love this environment we're in because so many narratives are being shattered left and right. Here's something interesting. The S&P 500 gap to an all-time high today. Not one of the 5 FANG names is at an all-time high. Not Facebook, not Apple, not Amazon, not Netflix or Google. So that whole narrative where those are the only 5 stocks that matter and all the money is passive and that's what's wrong again. So one other thing I think is important as well, XHB, all-time highs right now. This continues to be very important to me as well because it's a read on the U.S. consumer. The U.S. consumer's on fire.
Shan, you got Apple, the best outperformer today. To Josh's point, these stocks have some runway to go to get back to the highs that other stocks have enjoyed in recent weeks. Do they get there? Some of these other FANG names, can they get back to those old levels?
Well, I think it's really interesting what we saw last week because we saw a little bit of a breakdown technically in some of the Qs, that we saw some breakdown in some of the tech names, the semis, and that's not surprising given the overhang. But what we're seeing now is that we are seeing this resurgence back to in Apple, for instance. Apple's a great example. Tons of China exposure, also has seen the run up from the FANGs. I think that if you look at the next 6 to 8 weeks or so, they're really going to be looking to go back into those names that have served them well a year ago.